Osiris.
Well, let me try the cross post. Let me try it. We're live anyway. So
yeah.
What's up, everybody?
We're already here. We may as well give it a shot. Great Beyond live here.
And
21st.
Yeah.
I think what people love is not knowing when we go live. It makes it really fun and exciting for our listeners.
We know it's Tuesday.
Is it going to be during the day though on Tuesday, or is it going to be at night?
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah. Is it going to happen at all?
It is Tuesday. Is it going to happen at all? Is there a studio episode coming out?
Yeah. Needless to say, we need a social media manager. Hiring at $0.00 an hour. Can't give college credits.
Love free help.
We can maybe pay.
Hello, folks.
Yeah.
So we did get some people. We're waiting on Greg to trial and error some technical stuff that's not going to work. I'm
no, it's going to work.
Is it going to work? Because it
hasn't
yet.
We would think that our resident IT guy would.
Well, I'm the one who wants to let people know that we're doing this. That's.
I'm just kidding. So we're live here from the Great Beyond. Do they know we're live? They will know that we're live. I don't even know. All right. So we got a lot to talk about today, including a band of migratory birds flying through Manchester, Tennessee. Last time the band was in Tennessee, they played the Caverns. It was a wonderful weekend. Bruce, anything on that? Any recollections on last year's Tennessee?
Well, everybody know. I think everybody knows about the Caverns shows now. They're kind of like legendary to whatever extent anything can be in the Goose repertoire history. But the Mobavon was still so epic. Dark Horse in the Rain. I mean, the rain, the cave party, everything about that weekend was fabulous. And then Doughy Joey after party, this hilarious place, I believe called Shenanigans also.
At Shenanigans, that's right.
Yeah. So that was just serendipitous. But the whole weekend was really great. I mean, I had a blast. There's a lot of things obviously can't talk about on this podcast. We want all ages to listen. Diesel Johnny has some kind of idea where we're going with that. There was
including the lodging though.
The Red Roof.
Yeah,
is a Red Roof not served as well.
The scent of.
Remember, it smelled like a morgue. Yeah, it smelled
like a morgue, which Bruce and I frequent morgues. So
we were just like, oh, dead bodies, the Red Roof.
Hey, anybody know how to find the Meta Business Suite or Creator Studio? Where's the Creator
if you told me before, I'm knee deep in the Meta Business Suite, Greg. This is a podcast. We run this podcast ourselves, everybody. So we have to, we have issues.
I don't know. I mean, the Creator Studio, you would think would be close by. There it is. Yeah. I found it. All right, cool.
There's a lot of stuff that you would think would be close.
Figure it out. Really, this is more of an issue with like the UX of Facebook, I feel like.
It's not a you issue.
It's not a me X issue. No.
Right. Okay. So we could try to keep going with this episode. So first of all,
what's up?
Do you have some?
Do you hear vacuuming and out of my mic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you? Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah.
This is just the worst start we've ever had on a live stream. Let's continue.
Okay. Do you still hear it?
No, I think we're good.
All right, cool.
No vacuuming. Yeah. Did you tell them to shut the vacuum off?
No, I told my roommate. I feel bad because he's putting up a lot of shit with me today. I have a buddy sleeping on our couch that I forgot to tell him about until like today. So,
are you turning into a wook, Joey?
No, just a forgetful bad roommate.
No, you've spent enough time with me, Bruce. It's official. You're a wook now.
Yeah, I mean, he's drinking out of a fish cup right now. It probably was one of those wooks carrying out a tower of them from New Year's Eve. Yeah. I know it.
No, I got so wook that I forgot my tower of cups at my seat.
Ooh.
Yeah, but whatever.
Big mistake. So anyway, some other news. Speaking of fish, we should mention this because I think it's important. But Trey brought a little girl. I think everyone in the jam community knows this by now. But 2 nights ago, brought up a little girl, 7-year-old girl, named Jovi up on stage in Grand Rapids to sing Bug. She had a sign. yada yada. You can find the story online. But I was trying not to watch this. I was like, okay, here's just another, okay, cool. It's a cool spectacle. It was cool for everybody there. Fun for her and her parents, whatever. And then I broke down and watched it today. And I will tell you, there were a lot of grown men tweeting about crying on Twitter. And I was like, and then I immediately started crying. I was like, I'm going to have to watch this later. But I did watch it. It was absolutely incredible. I would definitely suggest watching it to anybody who is like me, trying to be a curmudgeon. But it's incredibly, it's funny, it's sweet. Bug is obviously a sweet song, and the girl is just so hilarious. Her reactions are priceless. And the funny thing about that was that we also had an incredible Bug story from Bonnaroo that got posted in Goose, our Facebook group. This young man, this poor young man, coming up on joy and fun, was also feeling like there was some sort of bug stuck in his ear. He was feeling this flittering and flying, and he thought it was maybe the drugs, as one would. But it kept getting worse, and he tried to like push it out, basically, I guess, similar to giving birth from the ear canal. And his friends are looking in there with a flashlight, and it was actually a big ass beetle that they ended up kind of pulling out of his ear as it started to come out right before Goose hit the stage. So, these two stories are not the same, but I felt like they were related enough to mention in the show.
Well,
but both some good stuff online.
Yeah,
I mean, this is why we have the internet, to hear these stories. So, pretty epic weekend all around.
So I have no idea how to use Facebook. Really don't.
This is why I just handle this at the beginning of these episodes. You're tech guy. This is what the tech guy is here for.
It's all good. Thank you all for joining. I'm sorry that you've watched my open mouth as I browse. But I guess, Bruce, did we post this in El Goose?
No, I'm gonna now, because you've been trying to mess around with Meta Business Suite for ages.
No big deal. 7:13. We're live. What up, everybody? Who's still
all
here?
right, we're starting the episode now.
Joey, what'd you do this weekend, man?
Nothing. It was awesome. Got a haircut. The worst.
So you celebrate Juneteenth?
Dude, I got the worst haircut of my life on Monday.
Where'd it go?
I mean, just the local Albanian barbershop fucked my head up, dude. I look like
shit.
I feel like I look like, you watch Curb?
Mm-hmm.
The Judy doll, when he gives that a haircut, and just like, because I had super long hair and he just went straight across the whole thing. So now like the front, the back is all like one.
Oh,
yeah.
No,
that's why we only have 10 viewers.
Oh no.
Yeah, right.
Well, now we don't have any Albanian viewers, either. So it's Joey heard us there. We had at least 3 downloads in Albania last I checked. So
nice.
We actually, I have to say, we're doing pretty well in Albania.
Oh, well, hello everybody from Albania. It's a beautiful country, I've heard, right on the Mediterranean coast. I would like to visit one day, but
yeah, dude, doing better than Andy Frasco's podcast in Albania.
That's true.
Oh, Frasco's got no Albanian listeners. That's a shame.
But Frasco has, he did get Rick on stage with him. Maybe Rick will talk to us one day.
Yeah, soon. Hopefully.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, Neil, if I could look like Laura Lee, I'd be fine with that. But sadly, no.
If I could play bass like Laura Lee too, I mean, unbelievable. So let's talk about some stuff we do know about, which is actually nothing. But let's talk about some things. So Goose played some shows, some monumental shows. Last week, it's hard to even think back to like pre-Bonnaroo. Not that I've really heard the set in an official way quite yet, but they hit North Carolina. They went down, they raised up, they may have removed their shirts and spun them around like a helicopter because it was hot as hell down there. In the chat, if you were down in North Carolina, let us know how hot it was using only emojis.
It definitely. I didn't. I did listen to Wilmington, but I watched Rally, and it looked. I mean, the way people looked at the beginning, and people were talking in the chat about how hot and humid it was down there. You could kind of tell. It was a little slow motion for a while. But the band kind of put them into it, Hayes as well. But we'll talk about that too. But you could tell. It just looked hot. People looked hot, but they were moving. I was pretty impressed. One of those big field situations. Although Wilmington looked a little bit like a different setup. But
so yeah, I mean, let's dig in. Let's start with Wilmington. That was the first one last weekend. Goose had not been to Wilmington for years. I'm trying to think
since the whiskey.
the
Since the
whiskey.
whiskey show,
I
maybe
think it
that
was
was that even
2017.
Goose?
That was Goose. That was Goose.
Goose,
2017, maybe 2018. I know that they went summer 2017, Throw 'em to the Wolves tour, unofficial title. Van broke down.
One time
they were stuck down there for a while. Nobody really at the shows. They went back down 2017 with Great Blue. And they also played Raleigh. I think they played the Poorhouse in Raleigh, another like early week show, not too many people out. But Wilmington, they come back to an amphitheater. And
on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday.
A Tuesday amphitheater show. So vibes seem to be super strong down there. Time to Flee opener.
Yeah, Time to Flee opener, which is like it's almost, I don't know, it's found its way into that slot often now. And you kind of expect to hear it early in the show. So that was not a surprise. A big one, 20 minutes, almost 21 minutes. That's how they kind of roll with Time to Flees. I don't know
if a Flee opener. I really do.
It fits. It's a good spot. I think it warms the band up, and likewise can warm the crowd up. And they always have these good jams out of it. And likewise, this was another solid one. I don't know if it was, not one of the most epic, but it got into a good groove. I forgot I was listening earlier when I was working, trying to listen to it, and then I was like, oh shit, this is Flea. Yeah, that's right. It's always good with that. And it just, the opening notes, the way that the way the song is set up, it's just set up perfectly to get into a thick pocket easily, and then they can just go from wherever.
Yeah, it's one of those openers where like the first notes you hear, and all of a sudden like people are, all right, it's a cloud of smoke, let's go. Yeah. But like I remember during the jam thinking like that, I rarely think about like, I mean I think about Ben all the time just because drums or whatever, but like the balance between Ben and Jeff, because Jeff, like if he's doing his job well, you're not really noticing that he's there. But there was one point where you could tell like, I don't know who was keeping the beat and who was like rolling on the toms, but like both of them were just balancing so nicely during this jam.
And that's the thing with Jeff joined, and a lot of people don't realize, when I'd asked Ben, what is it like? How do you like that relationship? And obviously, like the guys all get along very well, which is one of the key reasons why Jeff joined, and the fact that he's just very musically talented. But Ben immediately said right away, before Jeff was starting to even learn some of these songs, he's great to have it as timing there for him. When Ben's trying to do all of this ridiculous stuff, it's nice to have somebody who's steady in the background, keeping a beat for you, hitting those fills while you're doing all these crazy drum rolls and stuff that Ben was doing also later in the show as well. I thought there was a good example of that. So something they recognize right away, and then now, I talked to him at Indy, and both of them were feeling like, things are clicking much better, and you could really hear it between the two of them. All that, they finally have had time to practice more together, and Jeff has his own practice space now, so that's helped them a lot. Yeah,
I remember during the bingo tour, getting there for one of the dress rehearsals, like and that was the first time Jeff was really like in, and they had rehearsed Jive 2. And I was like, wow, is it the first time you guys have played that together? And I realized that's like the most horrible question you can ask to people who have been playing together for months. But they really like they locked. They've locked in for sure. And Joey, I think that's an important like kind of thing you mentioned there. Like when Jeff's really doing his job, sometimes you don't even notice he's there.
Yeah, to a lot of percussionists, when you notice the percussionists, it's most likely because of a mistake. Right. Like it's when they're off time or they're like playing an instrument that you might not want to hear, and like, or they're just too loud. That's a big problem with a lot of percussionists, I find. But I mean, and like the point where I notice, and we'll get to that later, but like during Empress is when Jeff's going crazy on the congas. That's one of my favorite like Jeff moments too. But all right. Keep going.
All right. Yeah, I guess we should keep going.
I know we're going to cross-post this video, so
you still trying to cross-post this video?
We're going to give away lifetime Goose tickets today. That's it. Share, subscribe. So yeah, Time to Flee opener, fantastic, tremendo. What came next? I don't even know where I am now.
WS Walcott.
Greg is knee deep in Meta Business Suite, everybody. Which I will say, it is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, just a piece of shit. But anyway, yeah, W.S. Walcott, great cover of theirs. Another band cover. They do the band, obviously, everybody knows very, very well. And Walcott's a fan favorite. I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Yeah, they really scaled back with the Walcott, but that's a jam. That's a real.
Yeah.
And I like it early too. I feel like
they didn't
the last
jam
one,
this one though.
Yeah, quick 7 minutes. But I think the last one I remember, that was actually nope. They didn't play it at Sculpture Park. I was going to do it. Yeah.
No.
So
yeah, one of my favorites is St. Louis though. That's because that show starts off with the funky Madhavan, then it goes Walcott into something, back into Walcott,
12
into Jive 2,
12 or something, 12 13, no,
12-11,
12-11,
19.
Right,
so that was the pandemic. That was this show while riding my bike. I would just go nonstop.
Yeah, that was a great show. Shout out to Rick DeBrouwer, right? Loves that show. I think there's a good No Rain in that. As well, in that show.
Really,
there's a lot of good covers.
Yeah,
really.
There's a 19-minute No Rain. Every little thing she does is magic. What's Up? One of my favorite covers. Make the Move.
John and I left multiple boxes of merch at that venue. I don't blame either of us for that. It was, we put it somewhere where it was hidden and it was safely hidden.
You hid it from yourself. I know how that goes.
Yeah, correct. Yep. It's just a high level of quality when we were doing merch. So, but then Flow Down up next. It's kind of like they eased into the show with Time to Flee and Walcott, starting to pick up the pace of the Flow Down. And I love the intro to Flow Down now. They've been extending that intro since 2019, and it's just fantastic. The stuff they come up with. This was what you would call probably a more standard one, given some of the flow downs that they broke out last year that were epic. And the famous hit, a hunger site tease in the intro. Joey.
Yeah, I threw that in the notes. I don't think it didn't happen, but there's one note. I think Peter was laying the ground with the keys, and like Rick was just like toying with the first note of hunger site, but doing a little. I don't know. I'm not a guitar player. I can't tell you exactly what was going on, but
maybe the same note.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. If anyone who plays an instrument in the comments, let us know what key Flow Down is in, and also hunger site.
Where's Ryan Storm? He's at camp.
Neil Bozeman did have a good Walcott. That's right. I just try to block those shows out of my mind because I should have been at those shows. Yeah, Bozeman. But definitely good shows and a good Walcott there too. So then after Flow Down, Life on the Shelf. That we don't hear that often amongst some of the new Peter songs that are epic bangers. This is a little slower, a little more of a sing song kind of song. But that's why listening to it, I just wanted to listen to hear how Peter's improved, because you can hear it on a lot of his songs that he leads vocals on, and they still haven't played in a while, and it's I wouldn't say a fan favorite per se. I think a lot of people like it, but he did sound, you can hear how much smoother the delivery is now on it. And just, they always find ways to develop these songs even subtly without totally changing the arrangement that makes them, when you hear them again and again and again, you just they start to find a groove with them or a place for them. And I think they're getting there with this, but a good way to kind of keep the vibe going for an early set. Kind of a slower, get these, ebbs and flows, but a little bit of a vibey first set.
You say slower though, but like I always forget Life on the Shelf has that like build into that like wild Rick solo.
Right.
That's like one of the more rocking songs they have.
Kind of funny. It's kind of like,
I always forget.
It's kind of like Bob Don or Seekers 2, where these songs to me are very reminiscent of classic rock songs, where you're going to get that. It's a tight song, but you're going to get that sick sort of soaring solo out of it every time. And it's going to be 2 minutes. It might not be an exploratory jam, but it's going to rip, every time. And there was a lot of that back in the day in studio classic rock tracks. But, that's what always those songs and those little like interludes in those songs remind me of. They do that a lot.
I feel like, and I don't remember what interview it was last week. I feel like it may have been Rolling Stone or one of those articles. No big deal. That
nice name drop.
Peter was talking about like how hard Rick has worked on his vocals and how that's really inspired him, and it's really inspired Jeff. And I think like stuff like Life on the Shelf, Redbird, it really is a testament to how much Peter's grown vocally. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
incredible.
writing wise, Redbird is a more mature and more complicated song than people realize. I think it's also it's hard to sing, you know. And
I don't know, man.
I guess I do say that. Are you
like-
going to start burning now?
I'll say that. We'll get there. That'll be. Someone gets the trivia question right today. You get to hear me sing Redbird. Actually, it's a good time to mention what our prize is going to be today.
We have a giveaway. Okay, let's.
We've got the newest edition of Relics magazine, cover story, Goose the Band, signed copy of Relics.
Ooh.
Featuring Goose.
Signed by
the three members of the Great Beyond. No, we're gonna have the band sign it this weekend. That'll be our giveaway. Stick around if you like autographs. Word on the street is Ben just draws a picture of a potato. So if you'd like to know that or more, stick around. So where are we? Life on the Shelf,
and then
Jive 1.
Picking the energy back up. You know.
So I saw like a Twitter thread. Unfortunately, I was on Twitter. And I think someone, Skoy maybe, was talking about Jive 2 being the best Jive. I think that's true.
Who said that?
Skoy Serious at Skoy Serious. He tends to talk a lot of shit. But
one of many. But he's not the worst anyway. But he's
a pretty okay guy.
Jive 2 is good. I mean, but I'm always gonna be a Jive 1 guy. Well, Tony and Jive, I can't help it.
Gotcha.
You know, and plus, like, obviously, Jive Reprise, aka Jive Lee,
Jive 3,
you know, is always great. But definitely like the lyrics and just like the vibe of Jive 1. And obviously, again, with the ebbs and flows of this set, it just made sense to drop in there. But it was a pretty standard one. It's an interesting set. It was almost like, you know, much more of a performance style set than in a, you know, going crazy improv sort of set. But then breaking out Rosewood Heart to close it out. And Rosewood Heart is firmly in the rotation, man. I remember back in the day when I was thinking whether or not it was maybe one of my favorite Goose songs. It still is, but they were playing it very rarely. And now, you know, over the last couple of years, it started to take a firm place in the rotation. It's always a big jam when it never was. You know, and they're doing that with some other songs too now, which is cool, which is great. And you're going to end up in different places using these different songs. But this is another big Rosewood, 20 minutes, you know, and it did have some nice parts to it.
That's the thing. It's like Rosewood will go there even when they don't expect it. You know, it's a complex song. I remember talking to Ben about it. Like, he said it's one of the more complex songs they play. Joe, you're a drummer. Really? You probably know better than me. But I can imagine that syncopation. You can't hear that, but it sounded just like Rosewood. So
it did. No, I was like, damn, that's Rosewood. Instantly.
Yeah, so, Joey, what do you think?
I mean, it's definitely one of those songs that I hate playing on drums because it's just like it seems so easy, but it's so difficult. Like, there's so many of those moments where they're just like little tiny things that you can't fake your way through. It just doesn't sound like the song. So yeah, I mean, I love those songs that are just too difficult to play, but yeah, I could see that. But I wanted to ask, was this the song where the dog got up on stage? Is this the right show, the right song? Do you guys remember?
I don't think this is.
I think that was
it. I think that was a small venue. Yeah,
because there's some cheering like in the beginning of Rosewood that reminded me like, oh, is this the moment the dog got up on stage? And when somebody said, oh, there's a dog on stage, I was like, oh, it's Shasta. Like, but no,
we can rely on experts in the chat like Neil to confirm for us. So yeah,
thank you, Neil. Neil, you should have a Goose podcast.
Yeah,
Neil, have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about Have you ever thought about moderating El Goose, Neil? Anyway, I'll talk to you about that later.
This is the dog Rosewood.
Dogwood.
Come on, dog.
Dogwood.
What do you call it that from now on? All right, so set 2, Atlas Dogs.
Oh, funny.
There we go.
There.
Atlas Dogs, so very polarizing Atlas Dogs because some people didn't like the new intro,
the new
arrangement,
yeah.
Song. I really liked it. I thought it was a new vibe, very Jackson Brownie.
Yeah, Yeah, I could see that. I was trying to put a finger on what it kind of reminded me of. But yeah, that's a good one. It's definitely different. It's like I was kind of struck. I've heard a lot of talk about it. But this is the first time I listened to the new arrangement, the version of the new arrangement, and yeah, it just sounds like a more cohesive song in a way. Some of the things that I thought were like a little off-putting about Atlas Dogs to begin with when it was new, it would have been a totally different. I would have approached it totally differently if this was the way that they started playing it, I think, originally. But then now it does. I do kind of miss some of the parts, some of the drumming, of that original version, if you could call it that. I don't know what is going to be considered the original version for them. But yeah, Joey had some good notes on this. I mean, like the lyrics, I didn't even notice the lyrics, that lyrical part that you mentioned.
It's like, it's not that the lyrics change. It's just kind of they're arranged differently, where if you were like writing them down on paper, I think you would, shift some lines like down one where it's not like the same stanza or something. But like, yeah, I definitely miss the old version. I like this new version. Like, I definitely like a more upbeat song, so I'm fine with it. But like, there was something about the feel to the original song where it was like this like desperation that they're singing out, like the "I want to be out there running" line. Like I loved the way they sang the old version. So like, I'll take either. I hope the old one isn't, gone forever. Hopefully they bring it back at some point.
Yeah,
they tend to do that.
Yeah, I doubt it will be. But it is funny how they'll play with these song arrangements, and sometimes very rapidly. Like with Atlas Dogs, they played it a few times, and now they're playing it differently. It's amusing, but it does keep things interesting, and it most importantly keeps it interesting for them. I definitely have always understood this, and if you're a musician playing these songs hundreds and thousands of times, like, got to keep things interesting for yourself. It's the most important thing. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to come out and keep creating what they're able to create improvisationally. So many nights. It just keeps the fountain running in terms of their creativity, and then Butter Rum, dude, and Butter Rum after that. Oh, are you trying to add your opinion?
It was a horrible segue, but I just want to say that speaking of fountains, which start with the letter F, Flowdown also starts with the letter F, and it's in the key of F, as well as Hunger Sight does not start with letter F, but it is in the key of F. And it just so happens that I believe Hunger Sight and Flowdown start on the same note. So when Joey heard a little Hunger Sight tease, it was actually just the first note. Very good relative pitch, Joey.
It was the first note of Hunger Sight that like, but there's more to it. I'm saying go back, listen to.
He's a drummer trying to talk about notes.
Right.
You tell me.
Most songs have an F on it.
Yeah. But thank you, Quinn, for dropping some knowledge on us. We definitely need help most days.
They named the note F.
Anyway,
for Flowdown.
Butter Rum.
Butter Rum. Anyway, moving on.
Maybe it's in Quinn. Is Butter Rum in B?
B flat, talking about Ben singing.
Woo, got him. Yes. Peter took it like little Cynthia. He did energizing the islands.
Did that in Lewiston too. I was like, listen, I was watching the stream, listening. I was like, they trying to do a transfusion Butter Rum jam. He was heavy on it in Lewiston, really heavy right off the bat. It was cool. It was definitely different. It was kind of cacophonous with the rest of the jam that they were doing, but it was cool. It was different. And then he kind of like, kind of peeled it back a little bit. And then this one, he just jumps in a little with it at the beginning of the jam. But then kind of, peels it back pretty quickly. But it's just another one of those songs like Rosewood, except this is even more recent. Like I don't remember them really jamming out a Butter Rum significantly ever before the Aspen one last year. And then the Aspen one was crazy. And then, now they've just been kind of jamming Butter Rum. I thought when they played Butter Rum as the last song in Lewiston after that great, fantastic second set at our park, I was like, oh, they got Butter Rum. It's kind of like getting loving cupped. But dude, they ripped it. And then this one was kind of a similar jam, know, and I love that.
So I guess it's really just like become the anthem of appropriation. First, it was this Calypso, and now they're appropriating the culture of Czech discotheques with this synth action. When
Dude,
is it
they're
gonna
out
stop?
here appropriating,
Yeah.
dude. I don't
Come
know. I
on,
don't
man.
know. I don't know. Somebody's got to talk to him about this.
Yeah.
It's a bad look. It's bad optics.
This is why
But
we're using our platform for good. So Wisteria, followed by Wisteria. Awesome,
can
great
never go wrong.
Wisteria. Like,
Second set.
and it went right into the mist.
Yeah, smoothly too. I don't know what Joey, if you were thinking, because Joey's writing these notes while I was kind of working on it too. I think we were listening at the same time today, but I thought the Wisterias couldn't like find somewhere to go, and then it almost like it was nice, but they just couldn't really find a good pocket, and then they kind of just smoothly went into mist, and it was like, oh, it seemed like that was kind of what they were going for the whole time, but I don't know. That's how it felt like to me, but. Love seeing those two songs in the second set. Love seeing Mist come out a lot more lately as well.
Yeah, and in that Mist, there was definitely like some kind of arrow scatting from Rick. I wrote in the notes somebody-o. I don't know what part of arrow I was thinking of that's what the lyrics are, but
Rick just be out here scatting all the time. You can never really tell.
But there's definitely like, in the closing, I guess is the closing chorus of Into the Mist. Yeah, it at least reminded me of Arrow. So maybe it was. Maybe I just hear teases in my head that don't exist.
It was float on.
Was that scatting in F, Greg?
Yes, yeah. I believe this is actually 100% scanning. So Empress, close it up, lock it, load, head out. There is some notes, I think, from Joey here about the dude professing his love to the band on.
I heard that. I heard that guy.
Awesome.
So the whole show, dude. The crowd mic was so turned up. I don't know if because Peter, I think it was during Bonnaroo, was like, I can hear you guys. Like, I don't know if he was just hearing a bunch of great things from the crowd, but the crowd was so loud during in this whole soundboard. So maybe it was such a small venue that it was this, but yeah, that was the peak for. I was like, this is like. At first, I was a little annoyed, but then I was like, "Oh my god, this is great!"
It was hilarious,
right?
Definitely
I mean, it was like, that was just super cool. I mean, it could have easily gone like sideways, Imagine if it was like, man, this is like, I'm just going back to like, Dave concerts or whatever. Like, this sucks, Imagine if that was just like broadcast.
Rick can't scat like Dave, This is an F, and it's like,
dude can't stop teasing Arrow. Yeah, so
guys,
I mean, it's good. It's good that it was positive. Maybe they should do that. Maybe they should just have the crowd mics turned up so that they can hear it in their in-ears. And like during the last song of the show, you just get immediate feedback from the crowd.
Yeah, I heard that's what they want. Everyone front row on the rail. Give them your feedback during quiet bass solos.
Oh god,
that's what they want.
Yep. It's like either that or take your shirt off. Take your pick. So closing.
We did get some of that towards the end of that soundboard. I remember somebody yelling at Peter to take his shirt off. Actually, so we moved on.
I love how that has like taken on it's like a life of its own.
It's
like,
insane.
Take your dick out. It's like
it's insane how it has.
Yeah, and like
it doesn't pop up as much now, though.
Thank God.
Exactly. Well, moving on. We talked a lot about Wilmington. I thought the rally show. That they played the next night on Wednesday, which we're talking about how hot it was and everything. But I thought that it was a really interesting show. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people were there, were loving it. A lot of people on the stream were loving it. And I thought it was kind of another vibey show, a little bit slower, but it was really, kind of listening back to some specific things. It was really well put together and really well played show all around. And they did kind of start off again. I think these early sets are you know what you're getting from Goose when the sun's still out. They're going to be playing something more vibey, but starting off with Hunger Site, which does have some good energy. I think it's a great opener too, because it's a big song every time,
Yeah, it's the same thing as like Time to Flee, where you hear those opening notes and it's all right. Light up cloud of smoke. Let's go.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the only notes that I had on this, because I may have been so.
Preoccupied with Meta Business Suite, and
Raleigh rhymes with Mahali and Holly, which is kind of crazy phonetically. Like, if you look at how the spelling, Raleigh, Mahali, Holly, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
I gotta get back to
I mean, we
Sunset
can
Lake.
talk about words.
Jesus
I don't have my
I gotta
Oxford
cleanse myself.
comments.
Have we jumped the shark? Yeah, I gotta cleanse myself in the waters of Sunset Lake and get my head clear here.
Yeah, dude, you need
'Cause
CBD. I can tell.
I am feeling a little inside out, which is the second song of the set. Great Spoon cover, which also rhymes with moon. Which
Neil took heat for publicly loving the show too much. Oh, it's dude, that's because Ryan. Ryan's a bully. I know that. I know Jive Goose be bullying out there. Don't let them bully you.
Hey man, you need a new podcast.
Yeah,
Got you, dog.
But yeah, no. I mean, I just it's my always. I'm used to certain Goose shows, and there's certain things that I love the most about Goose, and certain things that they do when they play, and so that's why I always get struck by these shows that sometimes I'm like not maybe feeling that much, and other people are loving it, and it starts to get me to listen differently though, which I liked about being on the stream that night, because I did start to listen differently, and they're trying to do different things, and again, those early sets are always a similar sort of vibe, and Inside Out kind of kept set that vibe. I love this cover. I don't hear this cover that often. They kind of keep it in a very good like semi rotation, good slot for it right after a big hunger site, and they just kind of sets the mood for the show, and then leads right into Butterflies. Yeah, who doesn't? Russo, really?
That's Russo. Love it. We share the same interests. Hey, Nicotina. So Butterflies, new tune, or well, not a new tune, but great blue tune. Which new rhymes with blue. So I'll pass it off from there. That would be my role.
Hi, Nick, by the way. But yeah, Butterflies, man. He premiered this with Great Blue. God, with another song I can't remember. Both songs slapped pretty hard. And then but yeah, is this the first time playing it with? Oh no, Ledge of Valley is the first time playing it with Goose.
You were there, Bruce. Jesus.
Yo, I was, but
were you?
You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was the one I could listen to it a little more closely, and it's really sick. It's a really good song. Again, Peter writing some of these more psychedelic transcendent kind of songs like Redbird and Butterflies and stuff, and I love it. And it's like we talked about before, Greg, like the elevation of Peter's not only skills playing keys but singing and writing. It's all been contributing to the band continually growing. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's got a really cool hook too. It gets stuck in your head, like a lot of Peter songs. Just gets really stuck in your head easily. With like, it's such a hard thing to do when you're writing a song. But like, yeah, like you said, like there's a little more complexity than just standard. Like, all right, we're gonna play 4 chords, and the stanzas are gonna be the exact same the entire time. This like switches it up, and like that solo where I guess it's Rick is doing like whatever effects pedal that is, where it's basically the notes are going backwards, like they're kind of coming like into the speaker rather than coming out. Yeah. It's like I wrote in the like Sgt. Pepper era Beatles, like just sounds like an album backwards. It sounds so cool.
I just saw that note, and that's exact, spot on. That's what I was thinking when I wrote psychedelic on there. That's spot on. And then another great song. People are saying a new song, and it's Turbulence in the Night Race.
Right.
We heard numerous times with Pseudo. But I talked to John about this. They sound checked this, and I might not have told this story already. They sound checked this at Legend Valley, and John turns to me, and he's like, when was the last time you heard this? I was like, I don't fucking know, never. And he's like, dude, it's Turbulence. They changed the arrangement, and it's 100% sold. I'm 100% sold on the new Turbulence. And I said to John, I was like, it always was one of the Pseudo songs I didn't love as much as some of the others. And some of our friends felt differently, but I didn't love it. It felt kind of awkward. John, and I was like about to say it, and John was like, yeah, it kind of felt awkward. Like, finish my sentence. And I was like, that's exactly it. With this new arrangement, it's much smoother. It's a much more cohesive song. Kind of like I feel like, when they churn that style with Atlas Dogs, it kind of made it a little bit more cohesive, maybe in my mind. Although, that's just me listening. But Turbulence slaps now. I really love it. Love to see it back in the rotation too.
Definitely. And like I feel like what they're doing with Turbulence now is like, I always thought it was a really good song, but they couldn't really nail it, right? And this is Pseudo. But like I feel like have grown so much as musicians that they're playing what they heard the song could be. If that makes sense.
Definitely. With Rick, it definitely does. All of these songs have turned into any of the songs that he's willing to play a lot, and especially the songs he's willing to record, have gotten to the point that he is kind of feels like they're kind of complete. Now they might change them after that, but that's the point where he's feeling comfortable about playing them. Because talk to him about other songs that just sit in the back burner for a while because he's trying to tweak them. I mean, This Old Sea was one of them. There's a It Burns Within was another. There's a lot of these Western Sun. Even there's a lot of these songs that were just on the back burner forever until he could get them to sound right. And Arrow was another one of them too. So it's like it just Arrow took a long time, and that's another one, like Joey was talking about, the complexity of Rosewood, a lot of little changes, a lot of little timing things that are tough. Arrow was another one. I saw him rehearse that before they played it, and they were going over some very little things that they just kept having to try to tweak, and then Arrow eventually kind of became a much different song altogether from that point on. So it's just interesting. That's how he's always seemed to work, but again, it's great to see it now. And in Turbulence, keeping that indie groove going into a werewolf song, as it were.
Werewolf sound for all of you out there who are just listening, not watching the video.
Oh, you should have seen the facial impression though Greg just did.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a werewolf.
That's scary as fuck.
Nervous that Greg was changing. I had to look out to see the moon's shining.
Yeah. Finally, I can grow a beard. So Werewolf, yes, Silver Rising was sick, but I want to talk about this Madhavan. Like,
wait, no, you can't blow past Silver Rising.
All right,
Sorry,
Joey's got to,
Silver Rising. So this is like why I love the old Atlas Dogs. It's got that same vibe of like there's so much emotion, and like when the instrumentals cut out and it's just Rick say at that moment in Westville when it was just like the one little green light going behind him. Oh, I love this song, dude.
Yeah.
All right, now go Madhavan.
All right, great. So Silver Rising, love it. Good song. I want to talk about this Madhavan because I love to have hasty takes, as they say. But a lot of people were saying that it was the greatest Madhavan ever.
Yeah.
Disagree. Hard disagree. Great song. 3 distinct jam sections. Vibe was a 10, but I do not agree that it was the best Madhavan ever.
Well, thank you for clearing that air,
I still respect
because I was
Silver
concerned
Rising.
that you agreed with that.
No way. No way.
Okay,
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
What was the greatest Madhavan ever? The one you were at?
You don't know about that shit.
Well, Joey,
was it something from South Farms or some bullshit?
You're not old enough.
Okay, so the one from South Farms is not bullshit. First of all,
yeah, it's not bullshit at all. Right.
That one from
attendance bias.
The one from Swayze is slapping. Does everybody forget that 10-320 Madhavan that slapped?
I don't.
I don't. I was standing in line for a porta potty and remember how much that slapped. So there you go.
I mean, I feel like there were also some
Garrett
older
knows, Garrett 10-320 6-19-21. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was from Legend Valley Night 2 last year. It was definitely magnifique.
I will say that Bruce, you were talking about Metal Rick. You were talking to Blimpy Man about it, and this is what I was like. Oh, the whole band got metal. Like Ben on drums, like he never plays this just like slow fucking rockin' beat.
But he wants to, and that's that's what he can do with Elephant Proof, that it's nice to bring in to Goose. And Rick had mentioned wanting to go a little darker, like this kind of run, I don't know, he's just feeling that vibe. And Blimpy Main, aka Matt Kalinsky, the band's manager, he had mentioned, he's like, yeah, Rick loves it when I call him Metal Rick. It's true. I mean, it sounds a little bit like Metal Rick, and it's been very, very cool to hear dropped in, almost nightly. Not really much at Wilmington, but they've been doing it a bunch this run.
It was too hot in Wilmington for him to be Metal.
Yeah,
everyone was melted.
He was dehydrated.
So I want to just say this now. Also, I will be Metal Rick for Halloween.
Agreed.
So do not take my idea. I'm going to be Metal Rick for Halloween.
You should think about being a werewolf. for Halloween.
Yeah,
You got
Night
that
Wolf.
down pat, dude. You have that down pat. Yeah, dude, see,
I don't need to wait for Halloween
it's
for that.
freaked
Come
out.
on.
That's scary,
Let's
dude.
switch it up on them.
Yeah.
Come on, that's where the wolves are at, I'll tell you. So
Oh.
I'll be Metal Rick for Halloween. Thank you.
All right. Well, good luck.
And it's
there
funny
might be a
because I'm
few.
inspired by a completely different Madavon. So I think it was really great. Distinct sections, hard hitting, metal, bliss. But it just like, I don't know. It just wasn't the most cohesive Madavon that like spoke to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But,
I'm surprised people were even saying that, but it's kind of cool that something quite different from some of my taste, and that's what I've seen with a lot of these things that other people might love, and it does just get me to listen to it differently and maybe go back and reassess, what I had thought from the get. But again, this whole show, I kind of was like, is it good? And but it was. I just think some of it wasn't, it definitely, this Madavon definitely wasn't one of the best, but maybe in the top tier, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I had the thought during it. I was like, is this the greatest Madavon ever? So when you said some people said it, it makes me feel a little bit better. I don't know. I would have to go back. Like I'm always
well,
like,
you're just wrong like those other people though, Joey.
Right.
I don't feel too good about it,
Don't agree with the box.
No, but I'm one of those, like the last one is always the best one. Like every show I walk out of, I'm like, that was the greatest show I ever saw.
Yeah.
But like, just because you're fresh off of it. So I don't know if I went back and listened to, the Madavons that you guys were at, which are all the best Madavons ever, maybe I'll feel the same way. But
most of the best, yes. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Let's talk about the rest of the show that apparently sucked.
Neil likes
Scout.
the Raleigh Madavon, so have fun on their podcast, which we love. But you're off now. So just kidding.
All right.
It's all good.
No, we can't lose Joey.
We'll never be here again.
We will have no podcast.
Yeah. Hey Bruce, what did they play? All right, so set 2. They played a harmonic minor ode to Bruce's high school assistant principal.
Yes. So honestly, and it's funny, he literally got hired, I don't know, 2 years after I left the high school or something like that.
Bob
so
Don.
I never had Bob Don, Robert. But you know what? I'm glad they made a stellar ode to him. Everybody loves Bob Don. I love it. We talked about those ripping solos that they inject. He was Russo's demon. I had problems with Scylla Birdie, man. Me and her were, she strapped on those sneakers and would come suspend me for half a day often. So that was how that worked. But yeah, I never had that fun with Bob.
Coming straight from the underground.
It was real in Wilton High School, Central Wilton.
What did you get suspended for?
Yeah.
One time I threw a broken hockey stick across the gym, the field house, when there was a class going on. It wasn't at anybody. And then I went to go smoke weed and then came back and I was suspended.
So what was it? The hockey stick or the weed?
The hockey, it was just, it was a mix of things. But either way, those are memories I've compartmentalized safely away in my brain and don't intend to bring them back up often. But Arrow coming up next. No pots and pans in this Arrow, unfortunately.
No.
I'm waiting for them to drop a truckload of them on stage one of these days. But,
it's no confetti, just pots and pans are going to be arranged in the skies of Radio City.
Yeah, maybe some utensils.
It
sounds like a werewolf again. I wasn't looking.
We're multi-talented animals.
He's changing during the show, everyone.
So definitely Flames, great Arrow. I was too busy just like in my feelings about Madavon to really absorb anything.
Well, so I had a note here, surprising, but about pots and pans again. But people were talking about that in the stream, and this user mentioned that Lawrence, who's opening for them, the Greek, I think, they're opening for them in another show as well, right? Greg?
I don't know.
Is that the only one? So they're opening at the Greek, and they have horns players in Lawrence. So maybe people in LA for that show in August might get a album style version of Arrow. Never know. It'd be cool to see live. maybe for some people.
Right. Depends. Yeah, exactly. Right.
But definitely, second set, much different than the first. And that's where you see those early sets versus the nighttime sets. Like it's almost like the band's energy changes just automatically as well. So then you got big songs, Rippers, Bob Don, Arrow, and then Redbird.
Time for the bird to fly.
Yeah. Another big Peter song, man. This, Pancakes, Butterflies, they're all crushing right now and big fan favorites. And, things that are keeping the momentum and the hype going for the band. So a lot of kudos to Peter for writing some of these big tracks, that are just huge jam vehicles for the guys too.
Yeah. So that's what he does best. He just writes massive jam vehicles that like are really you're really starting to realize it with like the fact that Time to Flee, which wouldn't be a jam vehicle without Bruce, of course. We know that story.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I've told that story a lot.
But like, it's just all the potential is always there. Which, like, again, it's just it's got to be hard to do.
Sure,
I can do it.
Moonrise being underrated. Kevin Callie mentioned in the chat, but yeah, that's because they've really only played that acoustic with a Rebelo.
Yeah,
right?
a Rebelo.
So like, it's going to be interesting to see, if they pull out. So there's a bunch of songs that they played acoustic with a Rebelo that, we're going to see. We're going to probably see with Goose one of these days. So we'll see what that
Radio City, dude. Acoustic sets.
Acoustic. Yeah, you're right. Good possibility. We see some,
and it's on the album, right? Isn't Moonrise on the?
Moonrise is on the
new album. Yeah,
which comes out this Friday, June 24th. Dripfield.
Yeah.
Drop.
Gonna be great. Very, very excited. Get your vinyls, ladies and gentlemen. Stream it on Spotify. Buy it on Napster.
Get them signed on Saturday.
Yeah. Got a pop-up Saturday. I don't know how pop-up it is if you announce it 2 weeks before, but it's popping up. So pop up.
It's a rough. I got to go to Rough Trade anyway. Pick up my record. So
there you go.
All right. So yeah,
get them to sign.
And for people who don't know, Rough Trade is no longer in Brooklyn. Just make sure you know that before you subway down there.
Well, thank you, Joey, for that. To everyone who doesn't live in Brooklyn, no one cares. No one. Nobody.
I have
how many
buddies.
Brooklyn lilisteners do we have?
At least one.
Oh,
our manager's listening.
Our manager's listening. Hey, Kathleen. Yeah, from Brooklyn, New York.
Baby.
All right, so we still have a show. So after Redbird, again, Arrow, Redbird, Drive, big. A lot of big songs in the second set. Love to see it. And I thought this Drive was kind of, one of the better segments of the show. Butterflies, Monavon, and Drive were the highlights for me. And this Drive crushed some bluesy parts. Kept the energy going with the driving jam. I don't know if they finished this Drive.
So they haven't finished a Drive in like a year and a half.
It feels like they haven't been finishing.
A tour bus driver.
Well, they don't got to drive anymore. They never got to finish the drive. Must be nice, Me, I'm getting myself to the shows still.
That's it.
It's whack.
Barely finishing the drive still. Or finishing. I don't know. So ready. Best ready out.
Dude, Bruce's notes. Good version, standard.
Anything else there, Bruce?
Let me check. There was a space between the comma, a white space between the comma and standard. And that's pretty much all that there was. This so ready.
I didn't get this far in the soundboard, so I have no idea.
Oh, Jesus. But yeah, it was a good way to end it. It was a good way to end a really good second set, I felt like. And then coming out and encoring with California Magic, which is a song I really love, a new song I absolutely love, is a good spot for it, I think, too. So yeah, I like this Drive too. Yeah, it was a little shorter. But because they're not finishing them anymore. They're lazy. But yeah, so good show overall for sure. I understand why it got a lot of the praise from people that it did, and really that's the main thing, and a lot of people that were there were loving it. So people on the stream were loving it, people that were loving it, and that's what you want to see, And then we really get into something good here with Bonnaroo.
Yes,
I think.
Yes,
I'm super. So this Bonnaroo set was what, Friday night, late, or it was Saturday morning.
Friday night, exactly. Saturday morning, depending on you count.
How you tell
glass
time.
half, glass half empty, glass half full. So Bonnaroo, we've all been, right, Joey? Have you been to Bonnaroo?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So Bruce and I have been. Bruce, the first time he went was 1976. I went in 2009.
That was the bicentennial year.
Yes. Yeah. So nice, Bruce. So awesome to see the guys on the farm. This has been trying to make this happen for a long time. I'm just clicking on comments. Bonnaroo is not just off of Times Square.
No, he's talking about Rough Trade.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Jeez.
So, I mean,
just clicking on comments over here, folks.
Just get engaged here. There we go. Kevin,
Hulu
interesting point here. Kevin.
Oh yeah,
Home Alone.
Home Alone reference. I got it.
Thank you.
Very, very good today.
I do think that this was the quintessential festival set.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if it was the set that Sweetwater deserved.
No. I mean, no. Yeah, they did because I was there and I deserved this set and I wasn't at Bonnaroo and didn't get it. But that's the only reason. But go ahead. What were you gonna say?
That's that coming from a guy that hasn't been to Bonnaroo. So set, like, I think Bonnaroo is such a massive festival compared to Sweetwater, right? Sweetwater was huge. Sure, you could, get into the hullabaloo of
coming from a guy who wasn't at Sweetwater. Yeah, right back at you.
There might have been more people at Sweetwater than Bonnaroo this year.
Let's not turn on each other. There were not more people
no, that's what the people
at Sweetwater
want.
than Bonnaroo. There were not. They're like Bonnaroo is way bigger than Sweetwater.
I heard 5 million people were at the Goose set at Sweetwater.
5 million people were at the Goose set. But that's I think here's the thing. Bonnaroo, there's a little bit more universality to the audience. Sweetwater is jam heavy. You know, if you play too many of the hits, they're going to be like, oh, these guys know the pentatonic scale, man.
You only have 15 songs in the catalog.
You know, whereas Bonnaroo, you want to give them the hot tea, take them to Organos, and also work in the song Arcadia. Like, I really think like there's Joey, I think you deserved it. I think you deserved this set. I think you deserved this set.
No, and one point too is that the fact that this was a late night set and like this is every single song is, I imagine, in the dark and bright lights.
Yeah, man. And the lights look, and they're in this big like pop-up tent, and the lights looked sick. They had a lot of people in there, man, and keeping the energy up. I think they started a little late, unsurprisingly, maybe, but they come out firing with hot tea, Animal, Dripfield, Slow Ready, Into Fish in the Sea, which is just maybe the slowest part of the whole set, but a fire, excellent segment when you combine those two. It's just this thick, heavy dance segment for a long time. And then Arcadia, Creatures, Arrow, Electric Avenue, which, in the right spots. And like Greg was saying, Bonnaroo, you're trying to reach a lot of people. You don't know who's going to be showing up this set. Everybody knows the song, So you just hit them with a bunch of originals. You got Fish in the Sea, which is one of everybody's favorite covers. Another original, and an Electric Avenue, just to like ease people into a big closer with Empress, dude. I think it's perfect. I agree with Neil. Can't wait. Wish they dropped the video. I wish they dropped the video premiere tonight. Would have been awesome. Would have happily just watched that instead of doing the podcast. But we're here for everyone. And I'm very excited. Very excited to hear this. You watched it a little though.
So okay, right? I want to give a big shout out to Teal and Todd for streaming the set. I had I did have an expectation that maybe someone would stream because I posted at 3 a.m. from our Facebook page. But it's hot at Bonnaroo. It's like the morning, right? It's 2 a.m. there, and your phone is probably dead if you're me because you're responsible.
Your phone's definitely dead at that point. So is Russo's.
Thousands of people, maybe millions, people are saying. packed into this tent, and you've got to hold up a phone. And he did most of the show. Like MVP goes to Thielen. I hit him up. I was like, yo, you're the man. I'm going to send you some merch. I've heard that from you before. I'm going to send you some merch. I was going to
We make a lot of promises.
some goat stuff. I was going to hit him with like a 2019 print because I thought like that is fucking awesome that he took the time to do it. I even asked for more totem at one point, and he showed me some totem of a person sitting next to him. So, you know, Thielen, hit me up. You want that
yeah, man. And we appreciate it. Obviously, a lot of fans have stuck their neck out and tried to stream places when the band hasn't been, and that has always been huge. I've taken advantage of a lot of those. We do for the podcast, so we can listen in sometimes. So we appreciate everybody for doing that, and definitely Thielen, I agree with Greg, man. That is a very hard situation to be holding up your phone in for that long to stream. So definitely shout out to Thielen, man. That's awesome. Neil 2.0 out there, doing God's work, man, for the fans. So we appreciate all that for sure. And definitely just dying for the show to come out. Would have loved to listen to it before tonight, and I definitely would have tried to squeeze it in because I'm excited to hear this. But I'm really most excited that they came out and crushed Bonnaroo, dude. Like you said, it's a long time coming. They weren't able to go last year, and it's kind of a diminished crowd this year. But they filled that tent completely. Had people standing outside in the back. And by all accounts, they crushed it. So it's great to see, great to hear. Also getting on stage the night before with Andy, they looked loose, dude. The guys looked happy. They looked like they were having fun, which is great to see. Trevor in the hot dog hat with hot dogs in his hands. Love to see it. Peter playing with pigeons the day after. Rick playing in the Super Jam. I mean, I just love that the guys were getting around and having fun and, doing things with other musicians, man. It's just great to see.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, it looks like the team had an incredible time that weekend, which is well deserved after this run. And to wrap it up with Radio City after a little week off is incredible. Bonnaroo is a special place, and I want to talk about Rick hitting the Super Jam with Jack Antonoff. For those of you who don't know, Jack Antonoff is he's a musician, he's a producer. He was in the band Fun about 10 years ago. They came out with that song We Are Young. He also is in Bleachers, was in the indie band Steel Train, and he's produced for Taylor Swift, Lorde, St. Vincent, Florence and the Machine, Lana Del Rey, Carly Rae Jepsen, The Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, Tegan and Sarah.
Greg, how do you know all this?
Man,
got that Wikipedia up on the big screen?
Yo, Greg's had some shit open on that computer. I know it. I know it.
I had my eyes closed. I could do it again.
People's phones.
So
he just knows his facts, people.
It's a big deal. And the theme of the Super Jam is 1984, which is the year that Jack Antonoff was born on March 31st in Bergenfield, New Jersey. And So a lot of good songs, and there happens to be some crossover of songs from 1984 that Goose has covered, including Take On Me. And so Rick ripped the Take On Me. I heard.
That's what I heard.
And just had this moment there. So that's
Excellent.
great.
Love to hear that.
That's really cool
too. Yeah. I mean, Rick Simmons, dude, Rick, it's rare that Rick sits in, and then now he's had a bunch. And when he sat in, I can tell you at the DJ Logic show at Park City, which still to this day blows me away. One of the best shows I've seen this year. I've seen so many good shows. That show's crazy good. Rick Sinnen was fire. Rick and Rob Compa were going at it so well, fitting together so well. And it was so dark and spooky and long. And it was just I was awesome. I love seeing Rick getting out there and playing with these other musicians now, man. And like I said, especially at Bonnaroo, you're getting a lot of people looking at you that haven't seen you or heard you play potentially. And I like that they really made the most of it. I really love that.
100%. I mean, it's like, there's so many artists playing, to look at that schedule and see who they're next to. It's like, Disclosure, Goose, Illenium, which I was like, why is there a tribute to Will Smith's seminal album? to see all of this like on one night, King Giz is there, and then to have homies like Pigeons there, but even like
Right.
Machine Gun Kelly like hacking away at guitar, who I opened for in 2011, no big deal. Did it first.
MBT.
Yeah, no biggie. It's like it's amazing. It's an amazing thing, and the fact that they fit right in at that festival and were able to have a huge crowd when, frankly, like it went from a jam festival to being purchased by Live Nation and becoming a massive pop kind of cultural spectacle. To really be occupying that space and carrying that. That's a weight to carry. That's the original Bonnaroo torch. It's like jam bands and or like indie group, whatever you want to call it. So I think it's a big thing. I think it's a big moment. I hope it becomes kind of a new home for them, because I would like to take Joey there.
Yeah. Joey needs to feel the pain that I felt.
Yes.
I had to save some days off and some travel money for Peach. Diesel Johnny brought up a good point. That Killing Moon, dude, they haven't played anything from that 2020 Halloween show. I don't think they've replayed a single cover from that show.
They need to play Notorious again.
Yeah.
They have to play Notorious again. It was sick. It was absolutely sick. Killing Moon I would take, though, for sure. Maybe get it acoustic. Maybe we get it acoustic this weekend. That would be cool.
Head Over Heels, too. That whole show.
Yep. It was great.
I remember not being like super thrilled about like finding out it was Donnie Darko, but like they play it so well. They play 80s covers so well.
Absolutely do. And Dave, Billy Strings sitting in a row would have been cool, but I definitely have a feeling there's going to be some cool interactions between the guys and Billy in the future, and it's inevitable. I think they both have respect for each other, and of course, Billy Strings is amazing considering with anybody can play anything. So I would expect some cool stuff to come in the future. I hope personally that it does.
Yeah, or they could just keep pranking their fan bases for like years to come. That would also just be
not impossible.
Yeah, Bonnaroo 2046.
All right, well, is it time?
Okay.
Should we do the giveaway?
Well, I think let's talk about what we are doing this weekend, because we've got some big shows.
Yeah, should we talk about that? Should we talk about that on our next episode?
I'm not doing anything.
Switch over to the Patreon, as they say in the podcast world. We should get a Patreon.
We should subscribe to our OnlyFans for more details.
Yes.
So I think it's going to be a big weekend. Just to run it down, Friday night, Saturday night, Radio City in New York City. Heard of it. Pop up at Rough Trade right by Rockefeller Center in Rockefeller Plaza on Saturday afternoon. Going to be some cool stuff that happens, so you should go.
Wait, what was that? Can you repeat that?
There is going to be cool things.
Where?
At the pop-up. Like the signing. The
Rough Trade.
The Rough Trade.
Rough Trade.
I don't know what the kids call it these days. Oh, excuse me. God, that was disgusting. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm going on vacation, so I will not be at Saturday.
Oh, you're going?
Allegedly. I'll be going to Yellowstone and trying to.
Greg's gonna be cycling around the park. Yeah. Good luck.
I will see you at Peach.
You didn't catch that Frederick Puddle show, so might as well go to your own.
I like to find natural disasters like in. I like it to be organic. I can't.
Well, we'll definitely be seeing people this weekend. No, not Greg on Saturday, but I'll definitely be out and about in the city. So will Joey. Yeah. Joey lives there, obviously. Oh, and anyone got extras to the pop-up, check the boards. I know people hate Facebook, but there have been some things popping up and some trades popping up on the Facebook groups. So check out El Goose and the Mini Mall and stuff. Yeah. Oh, he is thrilled. Our manager knows Greg is thrilled to bike around the national park. So
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I can't wait either to see you make it back safely without falling into a mudslide.
I will be hiring someone to push my wheelchair at Peach. So if you know anybody, we'll be there. So all right, let's see. We've got to do a giveaway.
Studio.
Let me grab. Where'd Bruce go?
I don't know. He gave the 1 second sign. I don't know. Maybe he left something on the stove.
Okay.
Some tea.
All right. So we're gonna do a giveaway. It's a signed copy of the brand new Relics that is out now. You can still subscribe by tomorrow should you want to get this month's edition. Really good article about the band. They reveal everything that comes next. So I am going to do a giveaway. And that giveaway is, we talked earlier about the venue that Goose played summer 2017 in Wilmington. I want to know the third song of the second set for that show. Summer 2017, Wilmington.
Let's get
Third
on
song,
it.
second set. Third song, second set, 2017, Wilmington. Win yourself a signed copy of Goose Relics.
Yeah, you're gonna want that copy of Relics with. I think Peter's wearing a tablecloth or something.
Garrett Dorfman, aka the first person to hire to keep the band coming on stage on time. Garrett, you are the winner of a signed copy of the newest Relics edition. Congrats, my man.
Neil, I think I also owe you from a giveaway too, so be on the lookout for that coming.
We're hitting the post office this week and sending out a year's worth of merch and tickets. Sending out those Sculpture Park tickets. So thank you all for hopping on. We will all see you this weekend. It's going to be an incredible, incredible, incredible weekend. 3 sets both nights, Acoustic Goose and Electric Goose.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to Garrett for the Pogs. Garrett gave me the Pogs in Legend Valley. I gave some of the sleeves of or some of the sheets of Pogs to Rick, Ben, and Jeff, and I believe Trevor. I might have missed Peter, but yeah, those are sick. Everybody be on the lookout for Garrett's Pogs. They're sick. If anybody remembers Pogs, they're as old as me. Yeah, grab some of them. If you run into Garrett at shows, grab some of those from him. They're really cool. And
is
big shout out
to an acronym? Like, does that stand for something?
No.
Just something like that. No?
Pog. It's just a Pog, you know.
No, I don't. I don't know.
I have some sick ones, and it was never the best at the game of Pogs, but I had some badass slammers, and one of the ones that smelled, it was like this lemon scent you scratch, just like smell at, and that was when I learned about drugs. But anyway,
it was a dare pod.
Another time.
Dare pod. So I do have a torpedo, Josh England, and I'm talking about pods. Like, they're Pogs. I used to pod. In fact,
you used to pod.
I have a pod right here.
You think you
know what, Gary? I'm gonna throw this in with your prize.
Your order.
Your subscription comes with this pod. Pog. Sheesh. Okay. Well, I've got the OG pod.
These are Garrett's Pogs for the band and Martin and Andrew.
My parents' house. America Online.
Is that an AOL Pog?
Yeah, that's right. Who needs torpedoes? I got AOL Pods. So if you want, just call 1-800-238-3300 for your free software. 50 free minutes of internet connection, chat rooms. Head down the wrong path. I did try the number. It is definitely disconnected. But America is most definitely online. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you at Radio City this weekend.
Also, hold on. Studio episode coming out this week.
Listen to it. Probably coming out Thursday.
Tomorrow, maybe
Thursday. Probably Thursday. Yeah,
right.
We'll see.
Yeah, be on the lookout. We do this stuff. We just come in bunches.
This is Great Beyond doing another cool sign off.
Peace, everyone. Thank you.